Good afternoon, everyone. In the last class, we were discussing the government schemes and agencies for the small scale industries. And we had discussed so many government schemes, so many government agencies who actually support the small scale industries. In the series of that, the last one is District Industry Center, which is known as DICS. The District Industry Center, a very important point, is launched on 1st May 1978. And the main motive of District Industry Center is what? Providing the support to the small scale industries at district level. Generally, the organizations, whatever the schemes are there, organizations are there, either it is at national level, either it is at the state level. So reaching to particular small scale industries, that take time. But DICS is present in every district level. So quick support, quick relief to the district industry centers are providing to the small scale industries. The main activity which is performed by the district industry centers are identification of suitable schemes, preparation of feasibility reports, arranging for credit, it means arranging for the loan, and identification of suitable scheme, like suppose any particular scheme which is already run by the government, but the industries are not knowing about that. And by that scheme, industries can be benefited. So this district industry centers are actually supporting the industries by providing the information about the schemes. Any machinery and equipments are there, any raw materials are there. So arrangement of that all is also the district industry center activity for the industries. Okay. So this is also the government agency which are providing the support to the industries for development, for survival. Okay. Now incentive offered by the government of India for the small scale industries, especially in the rurals, backward, tribals and hilly area. The first incentive which is offered by the government is land. Like suppose they provide the rent, they provide the plot on a very concession rate to that small scale industries. Some government is, some state government is providing the land on a rental basis. And some state which are in the frame of development, so they actually support the rural, backward, tribal and hilly area, that they provide the land for the small scale industries, and for some year they not charge even the rent also, and the payment is also in the installment. So bacha, second, what government is giving facilities in the power. So electricity rate for the small scale industries are generally with a concession of 50%. While some state exempt some unit from payment in the initial year, and that initial year is decided by the state government. So mean to say, land is available on the concession, electricity is also available on the concession, water is supplied on no profit. It means sometime they are supplying the water on no loss basis. Only the nominal charges are charged from the small scale industries. Sometimes 50% concessions, exemptions from the water charges is there, and generally the period of that concession is 5 years. Goods and services tax, GST, as we know that every business, whether it is small, whether it is big, have to pay the GST. But small industries with the less than 20 lakh turnover are completely exempted, whether they are registered or not. The government is giving this facilities for the small scale industries that if their turnover is less than 20 lakh, then the GST registration is not matter on the time of payment of GST. So whether you are GST registered, whether you are GST not registered, you are exempted from the tax if your turnover is less than 20 lakh. Sometimes the units located in backward area get preferential treatment in the matter of allotment of scarce raw materials like cement, iron, steel. Mean to say that if any industries are there in normal area and if industries are there in backward area, so whatever the limited raw materials are there, first the preference will be given to them. If they purchase and it's over, so that will be not transferred to the normal areas industry. If they are not interested, if their needs fulfill and after that the raw materials remain, then only it will transfer to the normal industries. Subsidy of 10 to 15% is given for building capital assets. Loans also offered to these small scale industries on the concessional rate by the government. Okay, so these all facilities is given by the government. So as we can see that there are so many schemes are there are so many agencies are there which is already doing the work for the development, growth and survival of the small scale industries. Because small scale industries having a lot of problem. Main problem is arrangement of finance, raw materials, training, development, management skills. And these government schemes are helping them to cover up, to come out from these problems. Agencies are there who provide the training, who provide the management skills, who provide the financial advice, who provide the machinery, equipment, all that. Government also directly giving subsidies. Government provide the raw materials, land, electricity, water, all that on the concession rate directly. So these all are the supports by which the small scale industries can grow, develop and survive. So this chapter, small scale industries, is basically divided in two parts. One part is all about the entrepreneurship that already we discussed, and one part is the small scale industries, role of small scale industries, problems and the solution by the government that we already done. Now the last segment of this chapter is Startup India scheme and ways to fund a startup. बच्चा देखो, already we had discussed the Startup India scheme is what is a Startup India scheme in short, but now we will discuss in detail. So basically the Startup India scheme is run with two objectives. To promote the more entrepreneurship, number one. Number two, to nurturing the innovation and startup in the country. This drive will lead toward the sustainable economic growth and generate a large scale employment opportunities. Instead of being job seeker, be job giver. This is the motive of the Startup India scheme. The government of India aims to empower startup to grow through the innovation and design. Because generally, if you are coming with a new concept in the market, and that new concept is creative, that new concept is innovative, the new concept is giving the development support So that will benefit it to the country also, and as well as that will benefit to the entrepreneur also, because entrepreneur will also earn profit. But major problem is there, the finance, loan, how to start the business. Startup India scheme is actually supporting that type of entrepreneur and converting their innovation in the business idea, startup idea. ठीक है बच्चा? Okay. So basically the Startup India scheme is now doing what? Startup India scheme is actually influencing the mind of youth. Not especially youth, everyone, but especially targeted youth who have the innovation, who have the creativity, and that Startup India scheme is influencing them that convert your innovation, creativity in the business. Create awareness about the charms of being an entrepreneur and process of entrepreneurship, especially among the youth. Encourage more dynamic startup by motivating educated youth, scientists, technologists to consider entrepreneurship as lucrative, preferred and viable career. I'm just giving an example to you. The Ola owner was doing the job in Microsoft, earning a salary of near about 2 lakh rupees per month, a very handsome salary. But the person have some creativity, the person want to do something extra. The person do not want to limitize himself for a particular job only. He came with a Ola concept in India. No doubt in the starting, everyone have to face the problem. And that is the most important type of entrepreneur. When a tiger have to jump, tiger take 2 steps back. Similarly, generally, if you're thinking that, okay, I'm going to start one entrepreneurship, I will be the most successful entrepreneur within 1 or 2 efforts. Sometimes it's maybe, sometimes it's not be. An entrepreneur is a person who is ready to take the risk for earning profit. So, bacha, every person have 2 options. Either you limitize yourself, either you explore yourself. And when any person want to explore, the person be entrepreneur. If you have the good idea, if you have the creativity, and you are the self-motivated person, sometimes you motivated by other also. So you give the preference to the entrepreneurship rather than doing a job. And the Startup India scheme is supporting that young minds. ठीक है जी? अच्छा, how they support? Simple. Training, development, finance, whatever the need you want from the society, from the government, they are providing that. Okay. So when you get it the basic thing, you can start the business. As per the notification dated February 17, 2017, issued by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, a startup means an entity incorporated or registered in India, not older than 5 years, because it's startup, so it should be new. Annual turnover does not exceed 25 crore in any preceding year. Working towards innovation, development, commercialization of product service process driven by technology or intellectual property rights. What is intellectual property rights? Like suppose, sir, we understand the meaning of technology, we understand the meaning of patent, but what is the meaning of intellectual property rights? So what is intellectual property rights? We will discuss in detail. Don't worry about that. So if somebody asks to you that what is the meaning of a startup, so you can quote, you can give the reference of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, February 17, 2017, bacha. कि any business which is not older than 5 years, not exceed 25 crore rupees in the preceding year, and that business is running for the innovation, development, commercialization of product, services, which is run by technology, intellectual property rights and patent, that will be considered as a startup. A way to fund a startup. Ab how, in addition to the government plan that offers startup capital and bank loan, the funding of a startup can be also be availed in the following way. Because general startup fund can be given by the bank loans. Bank is also doing a lot of investigation. Bank भी भाई check करता है कि what the startup you are going to do that will be beneficial in the future. कोई scope है. Then the bank will give the loan to you. Okay. Sometimes government also gives subsidies. Government also provide the fund. But apart of that, other sources from where we can arrange the fund for a startup is bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is a very, what you can say, very weighted word, which is commonly known as self-financing. Okay. So whatever, like suppose you want to do the startup, so money always matter. So bacha, whatever the money you have as a saving, as a resource, like your family is supporting you. So whatever the family is supporting you in the terms of finance, they are giving the money to you. Whatever the person is saving you with you. So when you invest all that in the business, in the startup, that is known as bootstrapping. Okay. So this is the very initial requirement for the start. The bootstrapping, don't think that what is the meaning of boot. Simple. Bootstrapping means self-financing. Investing the money of your personal saving or your resources in the startup is known as bootstrapping. Next one is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is what, bacha? Pulling the resources by a group of people for a common goal. ठीक. And what is the meaning of crowdfunding? Very simple. The crowd. You demand the money from a group of people, and maybe that you make them believe that if you invest the money, you will earn a handsome return. Fairly, okay. So when the people believe in your startup, they also fund you, and that funding is known as crowdfunding. Okay. Next one is angel investment. Ab angel investors are individuals with surplus cash who have keen interest to invest in upcoming startup. They also offer mentoring and advice alongside capital. The angel investment मतलब समझो ऐसा कि the person who invests the money in the business, ठीक है, and investors who have the surplus cash and who want to invest somewhere for getting the money, getting the profit. ठीक है. So they are knowing that it is an upcoming startup. Maybe that in this particular time the person needed the fund, but if that startup will go good, then we will earn a good amount of profit. So they analyze the future, and according to that they invest the money. Next one is venture capital. अब देखो बच्चा, venture capital is professionally managed funds which are invested in companies that have huge potential. Venture capitalists provide expertise and mentorship. ठीक है? So venture capital is very simple. Sometimes some companies are the companies who actually investing in the new business. ठीक है? जैसे सपोज करो, एकदम सिंपल ऐसा बात समझो कि मान लो जी Tushar is going to start a business. Tushar is run a startup, and that startup is very developing, very creative, very innovative. Anand Mahindra come to know about that, And Anand Mahindra analyzed your startup, and Anand Mahindra come to know that no, this particular startup will be a big success in the market in the future. So Anand Mahindra gives the capital to you. Anand Mahindra also invest in your business, in your startup. And the expertise of Mahindra and Mahindra Group will mentor you, will give advice to you whenever you need it. And as you grow, the Mahindra and Mahindra profit will also grow. This is what बच्चा venture capital. ठीक है. Microfinance and NFB. Microfinance is basically access to the financial service to those who either do not have access to conventional banking services or have not qualified for a bank loan. ठीक है. So generally you can say that if you're not getting the finance from the bank, the local, sometimes you are arranging the amount from the local one. From the non-banking financial corporation provide banking services without meeting legal requirement definition of a bank. डायरेक्टली बोलो तो मनी लेंडर्स टाइप का. ठीक है बच्चा. तो दीज ऑल आर व्हाट बच्चा? द सपोर्ट फॉर द स्टार्टअप इंडिया फंड. सपोर्ट फॉर स्टार्टअप इंडिया फंड. अब भाई देखो, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स, एज आई टोल्ड यू वी विल डिस्कस इन डिटेल. ठीक है. अब देखो, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स को बच्चा समझने आना ऐसे समझो कि sometimes some persons are expert in any services. Like suppose if you write a music, right? That is your intellectual creativity output. If you paint something, if you have a logo, if you have a song, if you have a name, if you have an image that you designed for using in business. All inventions of creation begin with an idea. ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ भी गाना लिख दो और ढिंचक पूजा भाई ढिंचक पूजा का लक अच्छा है, आपका नहीं होगा. अब ढिंचक पूजा के पास भी कॉपीराइट है. तो इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स वेरी सिंपल इज दैट बाय प्रोवाइडिंग द सर्विसेज बाय योर आइडिया, इफ समथिंग इज बेनिफिटेड, and once your idea become an actual product, what you think in your mind, it come as a product, a service, then that authority transfer to you, and the legal rights for that particular product is called intellectual property rights. जैसे suppose करो कि if somebody had sung a song, and if I'm using that particular song in my YouTube channel, so the person can claim for strike, can claim for copyright. कि भाई इसने मुझसे permission नहीं लिया. That is my intellectual property rights, that this particular song is my product. So to whom they are giving the permission, they can only utilize the particular song. And why they will give the permission? Sometimes they are getting the money for the same. तो इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स क्या है बच्चा? इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स इज ऑल अबाउट आवर आइडिया, व्हेन आवर आइडिया कन्वर्ट इन द प्रोडक्ट, व्हेन आवर आइडिया कन्वर्ट इन द प्रोडक्ट, एंड व्हेन वी हैव द अथॉरिटी by which we can give the permission to someone to use that product or not, and if I'm giving the permission, I'm receiving something, that will be considered as intellectual property rights. ठीक है. तो intellectual property rights refer to the products of human mind. Just like other type of property, the owners of intellectual property can rent, give or sell it to other people. जैसे नहीं slogans making, इसको लगा डाला लाइफ जिंगा लाला. That is a intellectual property rights. Okay, like suppose rupees symbol given by a IITian, so that person received the amount for the same. That is intellectual property. ठीक है. अच्छा, the other properties are tangible. Sometimes the other properties are maximum time tangible, but the intellectual properties are intangible in the nature. Okay. Types of intellectual property. So this is our last topic, bacha. So that we will discuss in the next class. The types of intellectual property. Okay. So till then, take care. Bye bye. Thank you.